Hey everybody, welcome to my Pink Room of Doom, and more importantly, welcome to episode 3 of this series that I am officially entitling Make Guitars Shred Again. Now, I do have 2 other episodes in this series that I didn't formally call them that in the video, but they are in the title of the video, so if you like this type of content, make sure you go check out those other 2 very interesting videos. I thoroughly enjoyed making them, so I'm going to try to make them for as long as I can and as long as you guys are entertained. So this is going to be a series where I try to take used guitars or guitars that are not in the best of shape and make them shred again. And in this video, we have a particularly special entry because I want you to cast your mind back. We're going back to whenever you first started playing, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or it was yesterday. What was the guitar that you most likely gravitated towards or that you picked up? It was probably from Squier, and it was probably in the shape of a Stratocaster. The color could vary, but if you got this color in particular, then you were one lucky dog. This is a pink Squier Bullet that I picked up from a local pawn shop for the princely sum of $100. That's a pretty average price. They seem to go for about that. Even came with a really nice Levi strap. Pretty nice guitar strap brand. And that's in good shape too. This is a particularly clean example. The only thing that's really wrong with it cosmetically is that the plastics, aside from the pickups here, are a little faded, but that's fine. This is from like 2008, so that makes sense. But what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can make this Squier Bullet shred again. So on the surface here, pink Squier Bullet. Again, the only real cosmetic flaw that I saw was the pick guard and the knobs. They just look kind of faded, but other than that, I mean, this thing looks like it's in really, really good shape. Like there are no big nicks or dings taken out of it, no scratches. I mean, there's some scratches, maybe, if you look real hard in the light, but this is a particularly clean example. The frets look like they're in good shape. The fretboard looks like it's in good shape. There is 0 fret sprout on this thing. So for $100, this is a winner, right? Real winner. So we're going to go ahead and start setting it up a little bit here. So as you can see, I got all my tools. I actually got my lemon oil this time, planned ahead. So let's open the box here and see what we're going to start with. First things first is I'm going to cut off the tag from the pawn shop. You can see there, they had it listed at $120. The interesting thing too is that it looks like this CN thing right here, it looks like it says that they had this thing in there since 2023. So I'm pretty sure they were happy to have this thing taken off their hands. They really weren't going to negotiate all that much on the price, which again, it's a Squier Bullet. I'm happy to pay $100 for it, especially when it's a very nice example like this. And it's, you know, obviously in good shape and everything. So let's go ahead and start by taking out the strings. Again, we'll use my handy dandy Ernie Ball Power Peg string winder. So another crazy thing about this is that the strings are actually in pretty good shape. I mean, they don't look like they're rusted over or bad. You know, so I don't know if they were changed recently or back in 2023 and just nobody played it. But the fact that this thing sat in a pawn shop forever is, you know, another good thing. But again, it looks like it sat in someone's closet or something for a little while maybe. The other thing that I noticed about this straight away was the amount of string winds that were up here on the, you can still see it here probably. There are about 1.25 million wraps around the A string, or around the A post there, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that is not going to help your tuning stability at all, especially countered with the fact that these old Squier Bullets, they don't have the best tuning machines. They're those like really cheap, generic looking, like you know what they look like. You can picture them now. I'll show you here in just a second, but you know what I'm talking about. If you're a seasoned enough guitar player, or if you're somebody that fiddles around with these really cheap or these older, inexpensive guitars, specifically like old Epiphones and Squier Bullets and things like that, that's where you're going to find this type of machine head. Set those there. And I'll show you really quickly what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's like raised, like weird looking square things there, those type of machine heads. Again, not the worst thing in the world, but you know, it did come with a trim arm, which is really nice. I'm actually gonna move this out of the way so I can unscrew the trim arm. If you're gonna buy a trim arm for a Squier, Do not buy one for a Fender. Make sure it is for a Squier, because the one for the Fender will not fit. How do I know that? I learned that the hard way. All right, so this is always an exciting part to do, is to see what the back cavity looks like. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So as I expected, these springs are in the middle. The claw is all the way up to the body. All the way up. It's tightened as far as it can go. I kind of suspected that, because whenever I was playing it in the shop, just noodling around on it, and I went to check the trim, tight as the dickens. I mean, it was so tight. I mean, it was just crazy. So let's go ahead and back off this claw just a little bit here. I'll need a bigger screwdriver. All right, so I backed out the claw quite a bit just to take some of the tension off of these springs, because I mean, I feel like they were just about to absolutely go flying given the correct circumstances. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. So these are D'Addario strings on here, but the ball ends are faded. Very, very faded. So yes, I think these strings, this is a sticky bridge here, I think that these strings were put on here probably about a year or so ago, and just nobody played it. Sorry, I'm hitting the mic, but I think that that was the case. Little pro tip here: if your ball ends will not come out of your bridge, like if you're pushing them and they're just kind of folding in on each other, take the thickest string, the E string, just insert it into that hole there, and just give it a good push down, and you'll see that it will kind of knock that ball end loose. Then all you have to do is flip it over and pull them out. So yeah, that's actually something that I have never seen before. I'll see if I can show you. Like, if you can see that, look at how faded, like especially like the red one looks like it's bronze. The green one is like got no life left to it. The black one is not even black anymore. It's like gray. Very strange. Yeah, so that's a first. That's a new one. All right, let's get the bottle of Music Nomad all-purpose guitar detailer spray. Just give it a quick clean up, little spritz on there. Take our handy dandy microfiber cloth and just kind of get some of the dust off of here. You're not going to believe this. You might, I don't know. I've seen this a lot. The plastic is still on this pickguard. That's exciting. Because you could maybe pick out here that there's a little, where there was a sticker there. So happy, happy, joy, joy, we get to peel off a pickguard sticker.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
So that didn't go as planned. I thought it would just kind of peel straight off, but with this being almost 20-year-old plastic on there, what should I have expected, I guess? So very minimal wear on this. This is an incredible like look into how these things were when they first came out in 2008. Like, it's absolutely bananas. So interesting. I don't know if I spoke too soon or not. So I'm looking right here at the bridge, and I'm seeing what looks like a crack here and a crack here, maybe where somebody tightened these screws too much. I could be crazy. I hope that that is not a body crack, but I guess that means we'll have to take off this pick guard and take a look under here and see what the damage is there. I always end up jinxing myself when I make this type of video, because I'm always like, oh, this is such a good example, a clean example, it's in great shape. And then I always end up seeing something later. So, moment of truth. I also want to see what this is routed for as far as pickups go. So let's see what's underneath here. So it looks like it's routed for hum single single, which is good. I was really hoping it was like a swimming pool route, because then I could put you know, make this an HSH, how awesome would that be? Fortunately, that is just a finish crack right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's 2 lines right there, but there's nothing in the body here that's cracked. It looks like it's just a finish crack, which is very fortunate. If I can flip it over here, maybe you can see the electronics. There we go. So you can see little dime-sized pots there, cheap little 5-way switch, 3 single coils. It's not really a rat's nest, which is good. It's not really just all thrown in there. So that's nice. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on it if you expect that the electronics won't work. Because that, again, is my luck. Taking bids now. No, I think because this thing wasn't played all that much, if at all, it's probably going to work. So let's go ahead and take care of this fretboard, and then we'll get some strings on it and go from there. Because it doesn't really look like I'm going to have to do all that much in the way of like cleaning the fretboard, but these frets look like they could use a little bit of a polish, so we're going to do my tried and true method here of the fret guards and the 0000, I said 4 zeros, right? Steel wool. So yeah, as per usual with guitars like this, the last few frets, I'd say like 15 and down, are usually the worst as far as oxidation or you know, like corrosion or whatever you want to call it. These weren't horrible, but you could tell again that it's beginner style guitar and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, man, the frets, great shape. They're in great shape. Awesome. Was this one of the best $100 I've ever spent? Probably. I mean, I know it's just a Squier Bullet, but my goodness, this is a really, really nice example of a Squier Bullet for $100. Can't beat it. It was between this and one of those BC Rich bronze Warlocks with a single humbucker in the bridge. There's another pawn shop that has one of those. And I really wanted that, but man, those bronze series, I don't know. That would probably be on the list of one of the worst $100 I've ever spent. Leave me a comment, let me know. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. But yeah, folks, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about those BC Rich bronze series guitars, those Warlocks. I think they look cool. I'm gonna be honest with you, the one thing that's holding me back from getting it is, this sounds trivial, but it's got the wrong headstock on it. It doesn't have the traditional BC Rich headstock that you think of, the one that looks like the body, like it matches the body kind of thing. It's got that really weird, like old Epiphone coronet, kind of straight, weird looking hockey stick headstock, and I don't like that. I think that's probably the one thing that is keeping me from getting it, because I've been in that pawn shop a couple times and I've seen it there for a while now. And again, it's like this. It seems like it plays well. The neck isn't warped or anything. There's no fret sprout. And it looks like it would clean up nicely because it's in fairly decent shape. Right? No big chips taken out of it or nothing. Even on the wings, it doesn't have a lot of wood. I don't even think it has any wood taken out of it. It looks like it was thrown in a closet. Maybe was played by a teenager or something for a while, and that was it. So, I don't know. Maybe if I get enough response, if anybody's watched this far, if you have, thank you. Please make sure you subscribe. Maybe if you let me know in the comments if you'd like to see one of those BC Rich Warlock Bronze Series Warlocks on an episode of Make Guitars Shred Again. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Man, what a beautiful fretboard. I mean, that's absolutely, sorry for knocking the mic, but absolutely, look at how well that darkened up. This was such an impulse purchase, but it was such a good purchase. I had a feeling about it, man. It's just one of those, you know how you have a feeling about stuff sometimes? You know? What strings are we putting on this thing? We're going to be putting some Diodario 9-42s. That's typically what I like to keep my Strats with there. I like to have them 9-42s. unless I'm tuning them down real heavy or something, but I typically don't do that. I typically keep strats at half step. So drop D sharp, I guess is what that is. Or drop C sharp, excuse me, drop C sharp, half step down, right? There's a thing that goes around, and I kind of tend to believe it, that strats just sound better in half step. Again, leave me a comment, tell me if you think that there's some truth behind that, or if you think that's just a load of malarkey. I tend to think that it does. I don't know what it is, but they feel better to play. I do know that. They do feel spades better to play because these are longer scale length guitars, and if you keep nines on them and tune them down, I mean, they play like butter. I feel like this is going to be no exception. All right, so we got some strings on there now. Pretty painless. You can tell that these, again, are cheaper machine heads. They're having a little bit of issue turning. They're catching sometimes, but I think we should be okay. So let's go ahead and tune it up and see where we sit setup-wise. So right now it is in tune. I'm going to go ahead and just stretch the strings. I always like to do that just by grabbing the strings like this and just giving them a nice little tug, just kind of all around the fretboard. And you'll probably hear it as you're doing this go out of tune. That's kind of what you want to hear at first, because that means that the strings are stretching. You can also just do this by playing, but you know, this is a good way to get it kind of broken in and started. Okay, so hear me out really quickly. So after I put the strings on it, I did film me setting this guitar up. However, by the time I got done with it, I realized that the video was encroaching on an hour long, and nobody wants to hear me talk for an hour. Okay, so really quickly, I'm just going to tell you what I did to set this thing up, because there really wasn't a lot. It was just me kind of talking, right? So here we go. Here's what we did with the Squier Bullet Stratocaster. So the only real things that I needed to adjust was the neck. The neck had a slight bow in it, so I straightened it out. Straightened out fine. The truss rod works fine. The bridge itself was pulled up just a little bit, so I tightened the claw on the back and lowered it to the body, so now it is flush with the body as it should be. And I did need to lower the saddles a little bit to get the action down here past the 12th fret to where I needed it to be. Surprisingly, it's pretty well intonated. I really didn't mess with the intonation all that much. So after that, everything works. Everything's set up fine. This is a player, man. This is a really, really nice guitar. So Squier Bullet, it's got the tuners on the back, as I talked about before. They're holding tune. They're doing their job. I'll probably upgrade these tuners if I keep this thing beyond where I'm thinking I'm going to, because I mean, this is a really nice Strat. I really like this. I'll probably upgrade the tuners. If I do any upgrades to it, those will be the first ones. Sticking to the back of the guitar, the neck. Really impressed with the neck. It's super smooth, super comfortable. In the light, if you look at it from a certain angle, it's got a really nice, like, subtle flame to it. That's really cool, especially to find on a Bullet. And it's got like these burls in it too that just make it look extremely unique. I really like that. Not many people talk about the back of the neck, the way that it looks, but you see it and it looks cool. And that's all that matters, right? But it feels great. Feels great to play. Feels like a Fender, right? I guess as it should. Beautiful rosewood fingerboard on this particular one. It oiled up nice, cleaned up nice. The frets were great. Again, there's no fret sprout. They shined up great. They're not scratchy. They're not high. No high frets on this at all. This thing plays absolutely beautifully. The nut was like clean. You know, sometimes you'll see where people put the pencil lead in there. Not even that. This thing was clean, folks. I can't express that enough. It's clean. Going out of the body here. Oh, really quickly, another thing with the neck. No neck cracks on the pocket here. Just to not see that on a Squier, or really any Fender type guitar, is incredible. Unless it's brand new. No cracks here. That's nice. It's really cool. Now coming down to the body. Squiers, specifically these older Bullets, I don't know how the newer Bullets are and stuff, but they're thinner bodies, so they're lightweight. This one is, they're very slightly thinner. Put it next to a Fender. In fact, this is my Fender Player Series. You can see that this one is slightly thinner, so therefore less wood. It is more lightweight. We took the pick guard off of this. You saw the electronics in there. They all work fine. You know, the pickups are cool. Single, 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 as you would expect on a Strat. The faded pick guard almost looks like mint green, which obviously mint green would look absolutely mint, excuse the pun, but it would look great on this color. So I may even switch it out to a mint green pick guard. I don't know. One volume, two tone. I mean, it's standard Strat, 5-way switch. Everything works. Everything holds tune. It's really, really, really cool. You may have noticed, eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that I did keep the configuration of the springs in the back all in the middle. That's just because I forgot to change them when I had the strings off of it, and I didn't feel like untuning it and doing all that. But again, I put the trim arm in there and just wiggle it around a little bit, stays in tune. If you dive bombing, it might go out a little bit, but I mean, you do that on an expensive Fender, it'll probably do that. So it is what it is. This is the 6-screw, by the way. It is the 6-screw bridge, so it's not the 2 on the end, which I tend to prefer. But again, for $100, this is an absolute player. So I highly encourage you to go and shop your local pawn shops, because you never know. You never know. The people selling it might not know. They might just say, hey, it's a guitar. Sell it, get a couple bucks. The pawn shop might even know. They'll do their research, but they might miss something, and that'll play to your benefit. So, and again, I know it's just a Squier Bullet in this case, but this is a really, really nice guitar. So the question is, did we make this Squier Bullet shred again? I would say we did. Absolutely, we made this guitar shred again. We gave it a whole new life. We're going to use it. I mean, I can't say it enough. This is a great guitar. Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click my logo somewhere on the screen. That'll help you get subscribed to the channel if you're not already. If you want to check out some of my other videos, there should be some boxes coming up right over here somewhere. You can click one of those. It'll take you right to it. And if you want to support the channel in any other way besides just subscribing, check the link in the description of any of my videos for my Teespring store. You can pick up a shirt, hoodie, sticker, whatever tickles your fancy. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.